vloggers I saw, he said that you look like you had plastic surgery.
Name ring out, you know the credentials. Welcome to the mind of Jorge Sanchez, nothing personal. Late night thoughts cut sharp like a journal. Real talk, raw talk, still nothing personal. Welcome to nothing personal. With Jorge Sanchez on a vault.
So we're here. Welcome, Derrick.
Appreciate it.
To the Nothing Personal podcast.
Appreciate it.
Brothers of Age of Attraction.
Yeah, man.
You know,
Season 1.
It's
Yeah,
off and
we did
running.
it.
So how do you feel about it? How do you feel about, the season getting going?
Man, I'm excited, It's a little overwhelming for sure. It's a lot. Like every bit of the process from us going to Canada to Whistler, Vancouver, and going through this whole week of like all the press back to back, having those interviews is just like a take it all in moment for me. You know what I mean?
Right.
What about you?
It's kind of the same. It's kind of the same. I think that to some degree, I was lamenting it, like, oh God. But the beauty of it is it's something totally different for us, right?
Absolutely.
The press it's interesting how they come at us and talk to us about things. But I mean, it's a great experience, right?
Yeah, man.
That's a great experience.
So much fun.
So let's talk about that. All right. So now I know my reasons, and we'll get into that later. But Age of Attraction hits you, Derrick. Now you know the concept of the show. How did you feel about it?
Man, that's what drew me in because I've always just dated typically younger, and it hasn't been like, you know what I mean? I go out and I'm looking like, oh, this person is younger, but naturally people think I look younger, right? And I still like to get out, enjoy myself. So a lot of that demographic has just been younger in the past, you know what I mean? So I was like, all right, if I'm gonna do a show that's somewhat unnatural, I need to at least have a natural process within it.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm doing something that I typically do
Right.
on a day-to-day basis.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, that's cool. So I could just be myself.
Right.
And that's been working.
So you live Age of Attraction. You live it.
Basically, pretty much. That's
So
what
it's
I do.
like, hey,
I live
nothing
it.
new.
I live it. This is what I do every day. So, okay, just put a camera on me and let's just roll. Something for me? Like you scout? Like, I'm like, is this a trick question? Like what? Absolutely. You know what I mean?
The thing about this show, and I want to ask your opinion on it, is so it's a very polarizing topic. So the reason why I think that this show is going to get so much press and people watching is because that topic is a polarizing topic. For ages, you've had older men dating younger women. And so some women get upset at the fact that it's a double standard because it's harder for older women to date younger men. But that polarizing topic makes it such a big deal. How do you feel about that topic? How do you feel about older men dating younger women?
My thoughts on it, and I try to come across on the show is like, yo, whatever your experiences are and what the results of that experience was for you, I think that's what shapes and molds who you are. And typically, so if that lines up with somebody that's 10 years, 20 years, 30 years younger, then that's just what it is. You know what I mean? Like, and so then you get into, am I concerned about what the outside world thinks of it, right? So I think for us doing the show, we were all concealed, you know what I mean, to our own thoughts and the people around us that all decided to go through this process and be open-minded to it. So with that being said, it's like, all right, if I'm not really concerned about the outside noise that I may get, and I truly get to know someone that probably has similar experiences or somebody that can add value, let's just be real. Like that's a big thing, right?
Right,
You have to have that. I'm not gonna just say, all right, this person has to have this number as an age for that to work for me.
Right, but do you think there's a cutoff for you? Like, okay, I won't date a woman that's, well, we know you end up with a 22-year-old. So I mean,
with a 23-year-old.
But 23-year-old, excuse me. But was that, obviously the reveal, it was a reveal. Was that shocking to you? Did you feel, generally speaking, I wouldn't talk to a 23-year-old, but I'm here? Or
Right.
where you would, if you were in the regular day life, would you be open to that?
I don't think I would have, if I'm being real.
Okay.
I think that, we tried to like guess the ages, right? So I tried to put it together. But since we couldn't talk about it, I learned her experiences, right? She was raised by her dad. She was like from like the Midwest. So her life was different. She went to school on the East Coast and then went to school on the West Coast. She loves to travel. So I was learning about the things that made her tick outside of the age. So then I became open to it because typically if I was at a bar or a restaurant and I met her, on my own, then I would learn right away how old you are so we wouldn't even get to have those conversations.
Right.
Right. So that was something I took from it. Like, you know what? Get to know the person if there's genuine interest there.
Right. And I think that that's the thing that's interesting about the show and that's missed by the most is that we didn't know these women's ages. So it was strictly off of a physical attraction. And I think that sometimes people don't understand if I'm physically attracted to somebody, that's going to start the conversation.
Right.
So, I mean, there were plenty of other women, and I want to go into that a little bit. You didn't really get a chance. There were other women that you wanted to. I know that but there were other women that you may have wanted to talk to, but it's like you and Pfeiffer hit it off so quick that you didn't really get the opportunity to explore.
Right.
So is that true? I mean, I'm kind of putting words in your mouth.
No, that's true. So two things. I mean, Pfeiffer went for it. She was confident, and she was like, "Hey, this is who I want to talk to." That was attractive as well, right? And for me, the way the show like materialized, I didn't have those opportunities, and just the way that I've always operated, I'm like, man, if I'm into you, then I'm gonna find out what it is with you.
Right.
So I'm a totally focus on you. And once I had the conversation about my boys, that changed it for me. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right, at this point, I'm locked in. I'm invested.
Right.
I'm trying to see where this goes with you because it's like, and people do it all the time. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's wrong, but if I'm starting something and I get to a point of depth with you, and then I'm trying to date or meet somebody else, but I'm already here with you, then I got to start over. And then I got to start over with this person as well. And then another person, man, that's a lot.
Right.
That's a lot of my time. You know what I
Right.
mean? And then at some point, I don't think that I'm being myself. I'm not being as authentic as I can be. And I'm not knocking anybody because I get the process. But for me, it's like I want to be in my thoughts. I want to be totally present for you, Pfeiffer. You know what I mean? And see where this goes. If it works, it does. If it doesn't, cool. But at least that was the best of me, right? Like I didn't go into it and I couldn't say like, damn, I was thinking about, another cast member while I was on a date with Pfeiffer.
I want to get to the nitty gritty, right?
Yeah. All right.
So you obviously age is not a factor for you, right? But then not only does age not factor into it, ethnicity doesn't factor into it for you. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And so it's not like, and I don't want it to be perceived, and you can speak to this. It's not that like you pick a certain race out or age. You date whatever. Is that correct? Is
Absolutely. Yeah, man. I don't give a shit, bro. You know about that. You know me. I just meet. I genuinely try to have a connection with someone. I like to look a person in their eyes and be like, you know what? At the end of the day, this is what comes along with me. Do I see the potential that this person has value?
I hear you. But do you like black women, brother?
I like all women, Jorge.
Okay.
Like, come on, man. Like that's the way we got to think. And if I'm dating someone, I want them to understand that I'm open-minded, and I hope they're open-minded too, because I think it's more than just a person's race, ethnicity. It's so much like, it's such a broader scale. That's why I like dating women that have traveled and done things, because their perspective is so big, outside of where we are and just, American, this is the only thing shaking.
Right.
It's so much more to the world. So I typically have, for me, whether it's black, white, other, Mexican, any of these things, I typically have better conversations with women that are well-traveled, that have done things.
Okay. So made you say, okay, I like Pfeiffer.
Yeah. First, it was a confidence, man. I like a confident woman. And for me, because I already go down that path of like, you know what, it'll be some times to where you better be confident because I'm gonna challenge you, and I could be having a bad day and I don't need you to go run in a cave as my partner. So I think like that right off, the confidence. I love the personality, the bubbly side, because I'm super chill. Bring the energy sometimes. I'm good with that. And it was, I mean, on on the physical side, her eyes, you know, she's tall, she's athletic. Those are things that I typically,
Okay.
because I'm like, hey man, if we get into it and some shit happens, like I'm gonna have an athlete. So if it just so goes.
So what would be your response to women saying, date women your age, stop messing with these young chicks? What would be your response to that?
I'm really probably not going to respond to them because they're not open-minded. So why would I have an open-minded conversation coming from me with a closed-minded individual? So you know what I mean? You can't. It's just like dating someone and you like start or you put yourself in a situation like in a sand pit and they don't see any perspective outside of yours, right? But you keep on hitting your head against the wall to try to get your thoughts, you know what I mean? Your thoughts across. So it's like, if I'm defending, I'm already losing.
True. But I don't give a damn about you defending them. You're going to answer my question. And I'm asking, so if that came across, I mean, what is, in your estimation, what is the answer? Well, date women your own age. What do you feel of that? What do you feel about that? How do you feel about that issue? Dating women your own age.
Honestly, I would, at least in my experience with dating women my age, what typically, at least for me, can't speak for all, when I date someone that's my age or older, that typically comes with some past traumas, right? And so with those past traumas, I'm not saying you can't navigate it because I know plenty of people that have, but for me, that's just not the point I'm at in my life. So if we're having a discussion, if we're having a discussion about something that happened or a challenging situation in our relationship, I would much rather deal with our challenging situation, just ours, as opposed to John, Paul, Ricardo, and because I'm like, yo, what are we talking about right now? I don't even know how we veered off. And now I'm having to solve multiple issues, you know what I mean? Because now I'm becoming your therapist, your boyfriend, your friend.
You don't want to deal with the baggage.
Bingo. That's just real. Like, at least for me, that's what I've seen.
But what if they say, well, you got baggage too?
Facts.
So do you think, how does that play into it?
Yeah, because for me, my baggage is known right off the bat. So like, hey, this is my, baggage. I got kids. Cool. This is what my schedule looks like. You know what I mean? Or if there are certain things personally, like, hey, sometimes if this happens between us, I may take some time to myself. So you got to deal with my silence. I make those things known, and then you can decide at that point if you want to continue the relationship or not, right?
Right. And
So,
I like to say, like, when it's been said to me, because obviously I'm older than you, I say, listen, no matter who you talk to, young or old, your age or younger, you're going to deal with issues. So it's just a question of what issue you want to deal with. And I think that is where the question and the conversation should be, not to the actual number, but to the actual experience.
exactly.
And so that's what I figure a lot.
So yeah, so to that point, right? So for me, and you tell me what it is for you, like when dating younger. So for me, I know what my non-negotiables are, and I know to what you're saying, to your point, if I'm dealing with a younger or old woman, okay, these are things that I want to deal with. These are things that I can't. So dealing with that baggage, like, I can't deal with the angry shit. You know what I mean?
I understand.
And because I'm the type of person personally that, hey, if we're having a challenging conversation, I'm looking at it as, I care about you, I love you, and we're having this conversation to grow.
Right.
That's what I need you to know as your man on the front end. But when you bring disrespect and other things into the relationship, now you lost me. You know what I mean? And then for me, even if you get the, oh, I'm sorry that happened and this is why I was emotional, we really can't come back from that a lot of times.
Right.
You know what I mean? How you feel about that?
Well, so I think that you're right. I think you're dead on, and I agree with you in that sense. I think that, so part of any conversation or any relationship with a woman is we all bring our own experiences. We all bring our own thoughts and problems. I don't want to deal with, me personally, like you said, I don't want to deal with the anger or the, because I have my own, frailties that I'm dealing with.
Right.
But I can deal, I think a friend of mine always says, you can deal with anything as long as you know what you're dealing with.
Absolutely.
And I think if up front we're like, hey, this is something that I struggle with, or this is something that
Right.
is an issue for me. Well, then now we know what we're dealing with. Can we deal with it? And
Absolutely.
do I want to deal with it?
Right.
You know, and I think that that and I think that I don't know, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you can tell me if you agree with this. I don't look at any woman and say, she's younger, I'm gonna date her. I just look at you and if I'm attracted to you.
Right.
And because just like you do not look your age, I think you can run into a woman that don't look their age.
Right.
She could be fine, you know, and when I say don't look her age, I mean, you may not be able to know her age. So I don't deal with, oh, she's that age or she's that age. I deal with, oh, I'm attracted to her.
Right.
And then I find out your age, which is why age of attraction worked.
Right, exactly.
You know?
I agree. No, I agree. And that's because we're getting to know the person, right? What's inside of them
Right.
on the front end.
Right.
And we're not thinking, and to me, that's just a, lack of a better word, just a shallow way to look at it. Like, okay, what's your age right off? Like, who am I talking to? And if that's what you're caught up in,
Right.
then that's going to be a surface level relationship in the first place.
Surface.
You know what I mean? So,
And I think that the brilliance, and I'll give Netflix credit for this, the brilliance of Netflix in putting together a show like this and where you cannot focus on age. I think there's a brilliance in that because now we don't even have to worry about bringing that up, right?
Right.
And so then now you're, like you said, I'm living my everyday life. Now I just want to find out about
Absolutely.
you. So when you went into it, like you said, hey, they're paying me to do what I do already, right?
Right.
But did you think I'm probably going to end up with a young chick? did you think that?
I thought the probability was high.
Okay.
That I would.
Now that being said,
I mean-
when you saw Pfeiffer, did you think she's young?
Yeah, man, I knew she was younger than me. Like, yeah, you know, right? Like, you're not stupid. Come on, man, keep it real. Like, but then at that point, it's like, okay, she's younger, but does she act young?
That's
right?
true.
Is she open-minded? Do I think that she'll take accountability? Is she responsible? And she did. You know, one thing that's big to me, and you tell me, is this a red flag for you? If you get into, and I don't need deep details with, you know, a woman when I ask this question, but I'll ask, hey, do you tell me about the past relationships you've had? Like, what's it look like, right? And if everybody they've dated has been the problem, and they don't like them or care about them, you know what I mean? And it's like, yo, okay, that just tells me it's only a matter of time before I'm the next one on the list. She's gonna be having this conversation with somebody else.
You're 1,000% right, because I have 3 questions that I ask a woman.
Okay.
And they tell me everything I need to know. Number 1 is I ask is, what is your passion? Because that tells me if you know who you are, right? Which is important.
That's big. I like that.
Number 2 is, what are the things you're looking for in a man? Because that tells me what insight you have into a man and what it looks like for you.
Right.
And then number 3 is your relationship history. And I always say, so what happened in your relationships? Because I want to see if you take accountability for your part in the relationship, because there's never one person always to blame in a relationship.
Absolutely.
It's a 2-part equation. So that being the case, I always look to see, do they take accountability? And like you said, do they still have a good rapport? Because I've never understood for 2 people to come together and say, oh, we loved each other at one time, but now you hate this person. Right. That makes no sense to me.
None at all.
So, you know.
Yeah.
So now let me ask you this, because I want to wrap this up, but this has been great. We're going to talk more.
Absolutely.
Looking back at your age of attraction experience, you know, we still got some more episodes for you, but looking back at your age of attraction experience, what would you say was the biggest thing you took from it?
The biggest thing I took from it, I'd say, and I don't think I noticed this until after the experience, was keeping my relationship concealed. And what keeping the outside noise, friends, family, not having those conversations, because what could have spilled over, let's just be real. D, what do you think about her age, right? So regardless if I act on that question, that side conversation I could have possibly had, it's in the back of my mind now. So now when I'm interacting with Pfeiffer, I'm like, oh man,
Absolutely
I'm thinking
comes
it,
out.
So
Absolutely comes out.
So, and I get it, like everyone's in your corner, like they're not trying to present negativity. They can only see what they can see, right? So I'm not knocking any of that. But for me, I learned, okay, if I'm going to truly try to get like have a deeper relationship with somebody with just us to where we truly can grow, I need to keep that shit in-house between me and her
1,000%.
until we're strong enough to where it's like, when we have those questions, it's like, yeah, okay, cool. You don't really know us, so you can have your opinions, but we're already like
Solid.
in stage 10,
Solid.
you know?
Mm-hmm. I think that's a very good point, and a good point for a segment going on. It's interesting that you found that it came to light for you at this experience, because I think that what you're saying is what a lot of celebrities do. They have to keep their dating lives private because everybody wants to be in their relationship, and no one's living their relationship.
Right.
The funny thing about it is, why do you care about what other people think? Because they're not living with you. As my mentor used to say, what they eat doesn't make you fat.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So
that's true.
So and so, do you think? If the last question, do you think, looking back at the episodes, is there anything that you feel there's something that they don't know about me? What's the one thing that we don't know about Derrick Fleming?
Man, the biggest thing I took from it is I dropped some gems about life, my experiences, and why I got to that point to where, based on what he's saying, his experiences, this is why he chose somebody like Pfeiffer. You know, I feel like it's just a lot of me like, yeah, cool, smiling, you know what I'm saying? Which is fine. Like, I get it. You can't control edits, but for me, I think showing that maturation process, like the evolution of just who I am, why I'm even on the show in the first place. You know, if you knew that and you could look through that lens, it would make sense as to why I chose this person.
And so, and in saying that, I want to say, so the audience sees these episodes, they see these quick episodes, and they see you and Pfeiffer. But what is it that they don't know about you? Tell me one thing. Give me one thing that they don't know about Derrick. Sensitivity. What is it that they don't know that you feel it's time for you? Hey, this is who I am.
Yeah.
Is there anything?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that I'm extremely considerate, empathetic, open-minded too. I think that's obviously shown being on the show, open-minded, but considerate of the person I'm dating. Like, I think you see that I'm so considerate of my boys, but I'm also that way in a relationship. Like, so on the flip side, you know, because I have a 16-year-old, right? So I've been balancing this for a while. Right. On the front end, that was probably tougher to understand that. But the way that I am with my boys, I'm able to show that same thoughtfulness in a relationship as well.
That's dope. That's dope. Well, sure. No, I have one more question.
Oh, shit.
Keeping in line with my Nothing Personal podcast, I think there was a vlogger who said, Derrick looks like he has plastic surgery. So he's saying your face is fucked up. Hey, nothing personal. Nothing personal.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, he's saying that you have work. So I'm just nothing personal. I'm just saying. So you want to talk? You want to address that?
It sounded hella personal.
But it's nothing personal. If I say nothing personal, you can't take personal.
All right, cool. All right, I give you a pass. But I mean, what the hell is wrong with a guy having a good skincare routine? Like, you can't. What's crazy is you can't take care of yourself these days. If you do, then it has to be a reason. No, my face hasn't had no damn needles. Like, what are you talking about right now? You know what I'm saying?
So the only surgery you had is on your knee.
On my knee. And I told him, when we did an interview, I let him know, like, look, he asked a question. I barely even heard the question. I was like, no, I'm going to get to what I want to get to. I'm going to redirect this and get out what I want to say. And if you want to make a TikTok about that, then go ahead. But here's the real information. But come on, man. I take care of myself.
Okay, so if all of you that are watching this podcast, just know that Derrick has an intense and perfect skincare routine, and it has nothing to do with the needle.
Right? Strong words, still reversible.
That's a wrap. That's a wrap, man. Thanks, Derrick.
All right, let's get into it. Nothing personal.